need to be in the team, for your whole life. We need to rotate into these teams and help out and get involved because there's amazing people and they're going to make it happen because there has to be an election and it has to shift, right? And so they're going to do it. Whoever shows up, that's who's going to make it happen. And so if we also show up, it will help a lot. The second thing I think is really important is get very educated about what systems were used during the presidential election, so you really understand what happened and try to do your best of looking. Like one of my favorite articles is called 12 Days to Go Inside the Trump Bunker. And it shows you about Project Alamo. There's another one from Matt Lira, who's a terrific engineering leader. He's in the White House now. People stay all the way through the different, as the government changes. He wrote 4 Screens to Victory, and there's a graphic in there that shows 40 to 60,000 Facebook ads a day targeting particular people, which is the tools we have to target you for Clorox, right? People are using that now. In this particular case, with the Cambridge Analytica and stolen data, it changed the game a lot. And so there's a kind of a boundary that we need to figure out and have a conversation about it. When is it propaganda and when is it illegal? That's a new problem. How do we want to deal with that? Because we're using sort of brain psychology on people now. And so we have to really get into that. Vigilance is what it says at the National Archives about democracy. Vigilance at all times. And these are the greatest challenges of our time in the area of fair and free elections, is to make sure that all Americans are protected with truth. President Washington said to Congress in the very first State of the Union, "There's nothing which better deserves your patronage than science and literature. Knowledge is the greatest path to public happiness." And knowledge in all countries is the greatest path to public happiness. Knowledge, fake news. Right, so if people have Americans will do great things. They're great people if they have the truth. And the truth moves, but it's really moving around a lot, and there's really directed channels. And a lot of us have built this technology, so it is part of our responsibility to get really close to humanities and social scientists and others and really try to understand what's going on. And then also get into the systems and help the various secretaries of state and others really protect ourselves from the attacks that are coming constantly from Russia to us, to the UK, to all countries. I was lucky to meet Jerry Wiesner, who was President Kennedy's science advisor. He was president of MIT, and he was the advisor to Nicholas, who made the Media Lab, chairman, it's the Wiesner building where we worked. And he said that Khrushchev said, "We'll bury you." I said Khrushchev didn't mean we were going to fight. He meant we're going to outlive you. The Russians would like our system to fall and their system to live. And so hopefully we can coexist. That's our goal as peaceful people, but not with them trying to topple us. We know that they would attack. The KGB was all over Martin Luther King trying to disrupt our society. This is not a new form of disruption. It's just that it's easier with bots. And so we need to get really good at, like the Bletchley Park women and men, at fighting back. It's a really good question, and it's urgent. One more question? We're good.
One more question. I know someone has a question. I'm in my front row, people who've been waiting. You got a question?
We're good.
My people in the back who've been hanging out, got a question?
Well, listen. Anyways, question. Thank you. It's in effort, there's joy. It's what the third grade teacher that taught both my boys always has on her classroom. And so, and it's a team sport. We're going to talk a little bit about Time's Up later today in the keynote, and Time's Up is really a linked, not ranked way to get women connected and male allies connected to work on safety, equity, and dignity in the workplace for everybody, every workplace, including schools. And so how can we have that? And so for us as the techies, I think we got 2 really cool things we can do. One is we can make our own affiliate, of Time's Up, tech being our tech industry. How are we building community and gathering and hearing from each other and just listening and creating space so that people aren't so isolated? Anita Hill talked about that today. And there's been great oppression. Everybody's been oppressed, and we've got to talk through that, right? And as we gather, we're also really creative people. and we can work on solutions in our industry. And we also have these great teammates from Times Up Advertising and Times Up Entertainment and the farm workers and the social workers and the All Raise team, which is ventures, and what's it called, Press Forward is Times Up Press, the global team, the legal defense fund, safety, all this stuff that we could bring our tech skills into all those teams. How fun is it to work with all these women and male allies who are working on this cool stuff with the tools we have to solve the greatest challenges in the world? So whatever you're passionate about, there's a path to do that. And so we'll talk about the URL later, but it's timesup.tech. And if you go up there, you can sign up on the, there's like a survey looking for what are people interested in. It's just us, so we have to organize it. So people there's a place where you can say, I want to be an organizer. So anyway, great to be with you guys. And we have a new at Shift7 is our new Twitter handle. And I'm Smith Megan. And Cassidy I work with. And I work with these guys all the time. So come see us on the Tech Jobs Tour when we're in your city. And we'll see you around. Thanks.